Good morning, buenos dias, wasabal khair. Welcome back for another lesson from English al Espanol al Arabi, where we take words and phrases and translate them from English to Spanish and then to Arabic. Today I'm going to look at some words and phrases related to children's stories. Children's stories are indeed a rich resource for language learners. Not only is the grammar and the structure simple and easy to understand, but in this information age, children's stories are usually available in many languages, the same story. For example, I'm working on one right now called The Little Pianist that I first discovered randomly on YouTube 2 years ago in Arabic. And now I just discovered it in Greek and I'm working through it. And I noticed that it's available in just about any world language that you can think of. I also use Dora the Explorer frequently because my daughter grew up watching Dora the Explorer DVDs in English and Spanish, and I'm familiar with most of the dialogue, so when I watch it in other languages, I have a pretty good idea what Dora is saying. Once upon a time is the most frequent, if not the only, way to start a fairy tale in English. A fairy tale is a category or a kind of children's story that has a certain formula that usually involves a princess, a witch, a curse, Prince Charming, and happily ever after. But we're just going to look at some vocabulary today, and later on, Lord willing, ojalá inshallah, we'll take a look at some stories. But once upon a time in Spanish has a counterpart that's very frequently used in the same way, and that's había una vez. Había una vez. In Europe, this letter would be pronounced había una vez. Había una vez. But in America, we generally pronounce it había una vez, if we pronounce it at all, because we tend to not pronounce the last letter in American Spanish. And this is the Arabic phrase. It's idiomatic. It doesn't have a literal translation. That corresponds with once upon a time. And it's kana ya makan. Kana ya makan. Kana ya makan. Sometimes you'll see the aleph eliminated and this meme will just be attached to kan, or the last kan. You can also hear it pronounced kan ya makan without so much accent on the short vowels. But I remembered it because I translated it in my head as, it was, hey, what it was. It was, hey, what it was. And I thought that was cool. But this would be probably better translated as a negating particle in front of a conjugated past tense verb. So it would be better translated, it was, hey, it wasn't. But it's not literal. It's idiomatic. Kana yamakan. Once upon a time. This is the way my story starts, The Little Pianist, and it starts another way. It's kana marratan, kana marratan. And that's just very formal. We can also say kana marra. We don't have to pronounce this last fetain here, and it just sounds just as nice. So marra corresponds with the word vez. And the way we say that in Spanish, and this is also a frequently used way to start children's stories in Spanish, cierta vez. Cierta vez. And that there was a time, or certain time, obviously. Certain time. Kana marra. And to say again, or one of the ways we say again in Spanish is otra vez, otra vez, otra vez, again. And in formal Arabic, we have a phrase, marra ukhra, which is again, but it's very formal. In most fairy tales, we have a witch or a wizard. And the word for wizard in Spanish is el mago. I don't think there's a maga. There's not a female version of this one. It would probably be la mago. But anyway, a warlock and a witch, respectively in Spanish, are un brujo, a warlock, y una bruja, a witch. Un brujo, a warlock, y una bruja, a witch. Now, warlock and wizard, we usually use the same word here in Spanish, and I mean in Arabic, excuse me, and this is the active participle, and it always has the same voweling in it, and that's what makes it very useful. It's easy to form, and if you know when and how to use them, it's a really convenient factor in the Arabic language. So this is pronounced sahir, and that's a wizard, sahir. And to make it feminine, to make a witch, this is also a warlock. To make it a witch, it's sahera. We just put the tarmabuta, the a sound at the end. Sahera, a witch. Now this is from my The Little Pianist story, and this is azif. And this means a player, but it doesn't make sense unless you attach it to something. So it has to be azif el piano, the piano player, azif el piano. And the name of the story is Azif el piano es sagir. the little piano player or the little pianist. It can be translated both ways into English, although there's a slight difference between a pianist and a piano player, which we'll talk about when we go through the other story. And another way that's very frequently used to start children's stories in the Arabic language is fi yomin min el ayam. Fi yomin min el ayam. And this is literally translated in a day of or from the days. Fi in yom, a day, yomin with the last vowel here, yomin because it's the adjective fi. Fi yomin min al ayam. Min al ayam. In a day of the days. And this I just wrote for fun. And this is, there lived a big dwarf. In a day of the days, there lived a big dwarf. Asha. Asha. And this is the same starting as that word azif. Azif. Asha. And this is the past tense perfect for he lived. Asha. And this is Qazm, Qazm, Qazm. Or we can say Qazmun if it's easier. And then when I first had to learn to do this, I would say the whole word. And that's why frequently I pronounce all the vowels. Qazmun, Qazmun. And then we just drop off the un and just Qazm, Qazm. Sounds kind of like cousin, but not really. Qazm, Qazm. And this means a dwarf, a midget, a pygmy, an elf. Anything small, any small creature really, Qazm. And we're using it for dwarf here. Kabir, big, a big dwarf. That makes no sense. Of course it doesn't. Well, that will be it for today. We're going to go through the introduction to the story Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves that I found on this wonderful website with Learning Arabic with Angela. Thank you for viewing. God bless you. Que Dios les bendiga. Aliasamakum.